This is another edition of PENSDOWN. Thanks for joining us. Today, I have been joined by a colleague who is a broadcast journalist with over 7 years' experience in the field. He is a voice on corruption and human rights, which has earned him the opportunity to speak at certain gatherings outside Ghana. He started his career as a personal driver in 2013, and by 2017, he had developed some passion for journalism. Actually, his career started when he drove or when he was driver for the host of Joy FM's Super Morning Show, Kojo Yankson. In his journey to the top, he has driven many high-profile personalities until he ended up at Joy FM as a driver, which began his transformation towards journalism as a career. He is today one of the fastest growing journalists in Ghana and in Africa, an alumnus of the Young Africa Leadership Initiative. He has also worked with many media houses in Ghana and abroad. Currently, he works with TV Africa, Pan-African Visions, and he's also a stringer for the VOA, Voice of America. Joining me today is Maxwell Nkansah. You're welcome, my brother.
Thank you for having me today on your show. It's a pleasure being here on this great platform.
This is interesting, from a driver to a journalist. Tell us the story behind your entry into the field.
Right? So I am Maxwell Nkansah from a community called Asuchari in the Charles constitution.
Okay.
And my father is a farmer, and so after school we go to the farm, and I got to a point I said, no, I wouldn't want to continue this farming. I want to do something for myself. So my father took me to a mechanic shop and asked the man to train me to become a mechanic so that I'll be able to come and have my handwork to do. It takes you to take you 3 years to be able to become a master. Okay. So, and within 4 months, I told the man I cannot. So I'm leaving. So he took me back to my dad. And I'm like, okay, if that's how I want to do and I don't want to continue, I should come and stay home and start farming. So I went to my father's room, took his 500 Ghana cedis, and ran to Accra, Fariwa, to enter driving school to become a driver. So 2012, I completed my driving school and I'm supposed to look for a job. I started hunting for a job with my certificate, driving license, looking for a job here and there. People say, oh, you are new, we cannot pick you. So a friend of mine told me, no, there's this Nigerian who just came to Ghana. He looks for a driver. So as a driver, let me connect you. And then he connected me to this Nigerian. I became the personal driver for almost 3 good years. And I stopped and I went to a cafe, type looking for a driver with my number, posted it around some estates. And a lawyer called me and said, oh, I'm looking for a driver. I said, I'm available. He said, come. He took me in. I started driving him, and he loved my driving. For 2-3 years, I said, no, I will not drive with him again. I stopped. I've driven a lot of high-profile personalities. Former Minister for Education in Kofa's government, Mr. Intim. I drove Babatano's in-laws before. And so I know kind of people. I said, no, I don't drive again. So I said, no, let me find something. So I traveled to Asamaikesi. I was there. I used to come to Joy FM, Adum TV, because of the presenters. I used to come and just watch them and go. So I developed a friend. I had a friend called Shege. So I was away and Shege coming. I'm telling you, there's this guy called Kojo Yankson from Joy who came from London and John Multimedia. So he's looking for a driver. I said, really? So I quickly called Babatano at Joy FM. Actually, I heard there's this guy called Kojo Yankson who is looking for a driver. So please, if you could connect me to Kojo Yankson. He said, okay, fine. She placed a call within 2 days. He must have come down. I came down. I slept at Multimedia. The next morning above, I took some coat. I met Kojo Yankson at Fiesta Royal. We sat down. We had a conversation. Maxwell, this is me. I'm looking for a driver. So if you are good, let's go. So he helped me apply for high-speed media. That school that belonged by then. So that was 6-month training course. And after that, because of my love, because I was working with Kojo Yankson, I had the opportunity to do my service with Joy Prime. So Kojo get to office. around 5 o'clock a.m. So by 5, we need to get to the office. I need to be helping the production team, enjoy the production team, water, bring newspaper, do that. So up to so I'll help them from 5 o'clock to 8. Then I'll go to Joy Pram, where that's why I'm stationed to work as a preview officer. So that's how I started my journey to become a journalist.
So you mean Kojo Yankson paid for your journalism training? Which institution did you train?
High Speed Media Institute. He paid for me. He paid everything for me. Every single thing was paid by Kojo Yankson. So I'm saying he trained me. And I can't live without listening to Kojo Yankson on the Super Money Show. Because he motivated me, and I always want to be like him. The way he asks the questions, like in depth. Kojo Yankson is always in the car. The station will be on Joy. Listen to other interviews like BBC. I was like, no, I want to be like Kojo Yankson. I want to be like Kojo. I want to be a journalist. Help me. He said, Master, if you have any school, let me help you. And I came out with a High Speed Media, and he said, Master, go and do it. So as I was doing my service with Joy Pram, I'm still driving Kojo Yankson. So in the morning, if Kojo finishes Super Money Show is going out, the PA drives him to when I close from Joy Pram, and I'll go and change from the PA, and the PA will go home, and I'll start driving. I'll take it from that place and drive Kojo Yankson to the house. I have to get home 1 o'clock a.m., 12 a.m., and I'll sleep by 5 o'clock. I have to wake up, bring Kojo to the office. So he's teaching me how the job is, and I'm happy working around Kojo Yankson. Yeah.
You did not go to secondary school. Where did you learn to speak English like this?
See, when I tell people, they don't believe it. After I completed junior high school, my grade was very bad. That's why my father said, okay, if you don't want to continue, go into mechanic shop and then go and learn, become a mechanic. Because I said I don't want to go to school again. So all this happened, just 4 years, and I read. They don't have a book to read. I'm all across the world, I don't understand. I have to analyze it to reading. I'm always learning new things. I'm always reading, always learning. And I always do research because I know Kojo Yankson always do research.
You have done 7 years. How long do you want to travel with journalism? Are you doing it for life? Or is there a point you want to go and do something else?
I think this is one of the noble profession that everybody would love to do. And I love this because it gives the opportunity to interact with the authorities. Let me say we are the mouthpiece for the people. We intercede between the people and the authorities. So till I'm dead, this is a job I will do. I will never deviate from this job. This is a job I want to do, and I'm still learning, and I'll learn to death do as a part. This is the job, profession I choose, and I'm maintaining it. I'm learning, and I'll grow on this job.
Does journalism pay?
For Africa, no. But looking at other countries, it pays. But Africa, it doesn't pay. Only few are enjoying. It doesn't pay at all. And that's what is killing most of people who aspire to be journalists, because they don't get money. They don't get paid. So they love it to do it, but when they see that there's no money, if no, let me divert and do different things because there's no money in journalism. Journalism give you the opportunity to interact with high-profile personalities. It gives you the opportunity to connect, to build a network for yourself. It's like a brand. So people are eating from the brand, but it doesn't pay. Apart from opening you to people, get you the connections, there's no pay in journalism in Africa here. That's how it is.
A lot of people are leaving journalism for other things. Some are going into public relations, others are going into different fields. What do you think is causing this?
As I said earlier, this is a noble profession. And if you have the mindset of I want to make money, then this profession is not for you. If your mindset is to make money, then this profession is not for you. So few of them that are leaving the industry to join different industries is because the industry comes with a package, with a huge, a nice package that benefit them. So the way between journalism and that wherever they are going, and they choose. That's why they have. We have a window in journalism. We have football windows. If you get to football, they have window. People buy players. So in general, we have to have the same thing. So if I'm with TV Africa and Joy FM wants me, they'll tell me I'm going to give you a house, give you like this. I'll weigh between Joy FM, their salary, and what the benefit I'll get, and then compare to TV Africa. And then if their money is higher than TV Africa, I'll move. That's why people are moving from journalism to different parts, because it doesn't pay. And they're thinking about their house now. Rent is expensive in Ghana, everything is expensive. They are thinking about their family and they need money to sustain. So if this profession to give them money, they have to divert and get different professions to give them money. So there's no one that they are leaving the profession to join different professions to make money.
As you are a voice on corruption and human rights, has your job ever put your life at risk before?
Sometimes it's good to be silent on some of these things, because I learned from my seniors like Manasseh Azuri, Anas Aremiya, Kwetinate, William Nyako, Senyo Jose, and Emmanuel Degbevi. I've learned from all these people. I've met all of them. So I'm learning from them. Okay. It's two things involved, whether undercover or an investigative journalist like Manasseh Azuri. Over the years, I've received, I've been vocal on Facebook attacking political parties with their bad promises and their empty promises and how they are governing the country. And so people will create a Facebook account and send me messages. I used to put some of the messages on my Facebook, but I stopped because due to that, my bosses, whose name is I will not want to mention, somebody's hide behind the name and send me a text message and I post on my status. My boss saw it, and that's the end between me and my boss, because he thought I'm putting his life at risk. So if I see any message, I've received a lot of messages before in my life. Amen. Some I put on my status, people see it and say, be careful. People acknowledge, be careful. And I'm living with it, because this is a job, this is a profession. So if that's what you want to do, you have to be ready for everything. So I'm prepared for everything that comes within this profession.
What do you think of Solly?
This Solly thing, it's very broad. That Solly is very broad. It extends that we have politicians who give money to journalists in the name of doing good, but they are buying them. It's Solly. Work for me, I'll pay you. They are buying you. And if an organization you are working for doesn't pay you, you always have the mindset of going out for Solly. A station like, I wouldn't want to mention their name, but I love them. Multimedia, they are paying them. So when a journalist is going out for story, he doesn't think of Solly, whether I give him or not, he's come back with the story because they are paying him well. Other stations that they don't pay them, when they are going because they don't pay them, they are taking off Solly. So if I'm going out and I don't get Solly, I will not go. I know media houses that they are focusing on Solly. I know some media houses that the people they're focused on Solly because they don't pay them. So if they're going, they say if there's no Solly, I will not go. If there's no PSC transfer, I will not go. So until the media organizations start to pay journalists very well, journalists will always be bought by this politician by giving them Solly. So I think the Solly will never leave the system until we start to pay journalists very well. The Solly will remain in the industry and will grow with it.
There are a lot of politicians that are setting up media houses, political ownership of the media. Is there a reason for us to be worried that this is happening?
There's a lot of reason to be worried, in the sense that when these politicians open or establish a media house, they become the agenda settings of that station. So when a station like Wuntumin that belongs to the MPP, you know, but almost you criticize the MPP. He'll always, whether the MPP is doing good or bad, he'll just praise the party, because that is the party's focus, is to praise the government. So become a watchdog for the government. So when the government is performing poorly, they will support the government. And then journalists that remove themselves or showcase themselves to be a political journalist, they are in a system, polluting the system, polluting the mind of some few journalists who are neutral in the system. So I think it's time that we need to seize, or there should be a law that will prevent any political party from opening a media house in the country. Because we have a lot of political media house in the country. They are making noises. They are not doing what they are supposed to do. They are not portraying the real the ethics of the journalism. They're just making noise and protecting their government, whether good or bad. So in the case like you have a media house that I own the TV station, I'll tell you, hey, please, I want you to always talk about MPP. Don't talk about, and they always praise MPP, whether good or bad, praise them. NDC, labast them, insult them. That's agenda they are setting. And so they are polluting the system. So until we stop giving licenses to political parties to open or establish their own media house, our country will be in a mess, because there will always be chaos, and the chaos will be created by these political parties that own a radio and TV station in the country.
Has social media changed the way we practice journalism?
I think, yes, social media has really helped us in terms of how we get stories. You know, we have to travel the length and the breadth to get stories. But now somebody in his own corner can video a happenings and post on social media, and journalists will pick it and follow up and make it as a story. So social media is already shaping our ideas and getting stories that now we don't need to travel even to the north, unless it's very critical, because somebody from north can be in his or her own corner and video and rant and write something and post social media, and we will take it and we will follow up and we'll do story about what is, we'll interview the person via Zoom or phone. So social media has really helped the media in terms of getting stories, publishing, getting enough story to be able to feed our people.
Is there any assignment that you would describe as the most challenging or the most difficult since you entered journalism?
Yes, which is reporting live, like doing a stand-up. Doing a stand-up. One of the difficult things, because you have to write like 3 or 4, 5 lines. You have to rehearse everything in your mind. And one of the things that I find difficult, apart from stand-up, going on an assignment where it's a press conference, as everything is going on, you have to be writing. As it's going on, writing the story. So before you get to the office, your story is done. And I still face challenges in terms of going on assignment and writing stories at the spot. I find difficult. That's the most challenging thing in my life, that I'm trying to make way around it. As a conference is happening, you have to writing, subtitle, everything. I find it difficult. I have to I have to go with my cameraman, get the video, come and sit down, listen to the voice and write. But now I've developed a skill that now, if I don't really write couple, whatever they are saying in the conference, I'm just recording in my mind. So I can sit down and please record everything that happened in the conference and write without even playing the video, the visuals to write.
Has anybody attempted to bribe you before because of a story you were doing that they didn't want you to go ahead with it?
Yes. You know, I have a private firm called Akonaba Private Investigation, which I've registered. And I discussed this with Yoni Kolende, speaker called Judge Yoni Kolende. He promised to help us if this firm become one of the established firms. He going to invest in this company. I mean, we are doing private investigation for private people. And so there come a case that we're doing story about a bank manager defrauding an illiterate, where we are getting to the bottom of the story And the major thing that we are illiterate, we don't read, we don't understand. And so as we are getting to the end of the story, the people are now rushing as me and my guy. Like, oh, come, this we should solve it out. This one, let's tell this man, let's give money. And my friend I work with 6 months away, say, getting a name, good name is better than riches. Having a better name makes you richer than having money. Somebody is suffering and you are going behind to take money to kill the story. What will you gain? And I know as an investigator, not all the stories that an investigative journalist brings out, I can tell you to the fact. And people don't like it. But as an investigative journalist, not all the stories they bring out. People may challenge me. Yes, some people pay money and the stories are being killed. It's done. It's not new in the system, yes. But your conscience will tell you that what you are doing is good or not. As I said, this job is a profession that gives you opportunity to intercede between the citizenry and the authority. If you know you can't do it, you better leave the profession. If you choose money over the profession, then you are killing the people you are serving in your community or your country.
Will you encourage any relative or friend or any young person that approaches you to take to journalism? Will you encourage the person that, oh, it's a good thing, you should go ahead?
I always encourage young girls and guys to do. I mean, there are these people who came to join. There are these new fresh journalists who are even doing their service now. One of them called me, Italy. I think there's no money. I want to divert. I said, please, you can divert, but please keep your journalism. Don't even close it. It's good to keep it because one day you need it. And I've helped 3 or 4 students who are in my village. They're now in journalism school. They're now at UCC learning journalism communication because I advise them. And they're always around me, always learning from me. One of them is in GIG, one of them is in AUCC. They're learning from my own constituency, and I'm teaching them. And so, if somebody wants to be a journalist, I will not say no. We need more hands to deliver. We need more hands to equip us to do the job for the people.
Pan-African Visions and VOA are international media platforms. How did you establish the connection with them?
So, talking about Pan-African Vision, so during the COVID-19, there were this online program from the US. It is an online program. So I joined it. So it's a Zoom meeting online. You have to write exams. So we are more than 4.5K online doing that course. How to cover pandemic, how to do all the stories. So after we are done for 3 months, we have different languages. So the English-speaking journalists create a platform, and other countries, other speaking also create their own platform. So on my platform, we have to introduce ourselves on the platform. So I introduce myself and what I do. So people introduce themselves and what they are doing in different countries. So if I know that I have interest in you, I'll connect with you. So I connect with the owner of Pan-African Vision that, oh, I'm a journalist from Ghana. Now I'd love to work with you, whether to write stories, because I have service in Ghana that is selling. I can write stories for you. So, okay, because of the pandemic, let's wait and see what happened. So after the pandemic went down, we said, let's start writing stories for me. And I started writing stories for him, and that is it. I've given me a lot of stories. I've read a lot of stories. I've written more than 150 stories for them, and they pays me every month. And the VOA, I think I have a friend in Cameroon who worked with the BBC and then DW. So he was also part of the platform. And I said, oh, bro, let's work. What can we do? I want to work as a freelance. So I know I work with international organizations. So if you have an opportunity, just help me. I said, okay, fine. They have this contact of a VOA African editor in Nairobi. He'll give me his email so that I email him. and see what we can do. So give me the email. I send them my email application, my CV, and they were happy. So wow, that's a rich CV. So give us. So they ask for all my bank details, everything, and they have to send us some copies of my samples of my work, which I send it via email. And they came and said, "Wow, that's a good. We want to give it a try." That's how I got VOA on my side. And
wow.
and for them, not for them, but I've been a correspondent for a TV station in Cameroon called Dash TV. It's an online TV called Dash TV. Sometimes I correspond for them. They call me live by Zoom. I share my we talk about issues happening in Ghana here. And then a radio station in Nigeria called Dream FM in Nigeria. They call me whenever there's issue in Ghana. They call me and I report to them.
Okay. Wow. Do you think journalists should be licensed?
This got to do with this answer. I think this question, I ought to go back and reverse where I said politicians are setting, establish a radio station, and therefore journalists are being bought. I think if journalists are being licensed, we'll be able to remove the bad notes from the system. People go to communication school, they become journalists. No, there's difference between journalism and difference between communication. People go to Legon, do communication, they become journalists. No, they don't learn anything about journalism. They just come on air and become journalists. No, we have proper structure for journalism. The ethics, the rules, and the conduct. But they go to Legon, they go to UCC, and then they come and become journalists. No, I think we need to license journalists. Journalists need to be licensed. In that case, we'll be able to have the good journalists who are portraying the practice and the ethics of the job, and they will be able to move the savage from the chaff from the system.
If we are to go back into time, 10 years, that is your current age minus 10 years, are you still going to choose journalism if you are to make another decision for a career?
I will still choose journalism. Never will I go up. Never will I give up on journalism. This is a career that I love, I cherish. It's a passion, it's a driven passion, and lies it. Till death do us apart. If 100 years to come, if I'm to be reborn again, I'll choose journalism.
Wow. What is your father's reaction when he realized you have become a journalist?
First, when I stole his 500 Ghana cedis, he arrested me. He arrested me. And I slept behind bars for 3 days. Today, he's proud of me. Today, he's boasting that, wow, my son is interviewing great person. My son is now getting close to big men like MPs, ministers, Samra Baumia, getting close to Flaster House, like talking to international media personalities like Lumumba, interview Lumumba, connecting with BBC journalists. Like I just came back from my village today. When I showed some of my interviews, oh, Maxwell, oh, God bless you. Oh, Maxwell, oh, I'm happy for you. Oh, God. He's happy. He's happy. And so my family are supportive. They have supported me and are always praying for me. And so my dad, they're always happy. I mean, they're happy. My family is happy how far God has brought me.
On a lighter note, when are you going to pay his 500 cedis? When are you paying it?
Oh, that money, I'll pay him later. I'll tell him that the money I stole from you, this is times 5 of that money. I'll make it 1,500. Say, Daddy, the 500 I stole from you, that you arrested me, I'm giving you 1,500 for it. I'll pay him. I'll reward him for that. Yes.
Where do you want to see yourself in the next 10 years as a media professional?
I want to be one of the best journalists in Africa. If I want to step in the shoes of Koblan Dumont.
Okay.
I want to be bigger than Koblan Dumont. I want to achieve more. I want to raise the flag of Ghana high internationally. That's what I'm doing. I want to be one of the big icons that they say, Maxwell, he's the one. He's from Ghana. Wow. That guy, wow. He came from nowhere. He came from a poor home, but now he's achieving greatness. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I'm prepared. I'm ready to take any challenge that might come my way as a journalist.
Did you take broadcast journalism because the man who influenced you was a broadcast journalist, or you think that is what you want?
I think growing up, I have a lot of dreams. I wanted to become a footballer. Okay. So I used to play ball in school. I changed. I said I want to be a military personnel. I changed. I said I want to become a driver, and I became a driver. So work with Kojo Yankson influenced my thinking to choose this profession because I love what they do. Okay. And I think working around them, if you work with people who are wise, you become wise. Yeah. If you work with fool, you become fool. So when I started working with wise people, they broaden my idea, my thinking to become wiser and choose the profession that is opening my thinking to learn. So working with Kojo Yankson also helped me to take this decision to become a journalist.
Would you want to also have an experience in, let's say, print journalism, writing for newspapers or magazines? Would you want to have that experience? And what about online? Do you have experience? If you don't, would you want?
You see, I want to become that versatile journalist, that multi-talented journalist. I want to learn everything. So I want to learn production, investigation, writing. I'm not a writer, but I want to be a writer because I've been working with Emmanuel Degbevi for some time now. So he's also training me how to write, how to pitch my story, how to do everything. Okay. So I want to work with the print media. So working for Pan-African version it's a print media. They do magazines. So every month I write one article for them. Okay. Every month I have to write one article for them. Okay. And so it's something I want to learn to become one of the best writers like Manasseh Azuri. It's not come by night, but it takes a process. And I'm thinking of becoming one of the best writers, not investigators, not journalists. I need to become one of them. That's how my passion is interviewing, investigating, and then hosting. I would love to become a writer as well.
Let me pull the brakes here. Thanks a lot for your time on PENSDOWN. In fact, I must say that this is one of the most exciting interactions for the fact that
thank you very much.
Story started from the most unusual angle and it has ended in journalism. It's amazing. And personally, amazing. I have hosted Kojo Yankson on this show. We had a very exciting conversation. And some of the things you've said about him, I do not have that kind of a close relationship, but it has given me a better view and perspective of who he is. This has been PENSDOWN. Today I've had the company of my colleague, Maxwell in Nkansah. He's a broadcast journalist. He reports for platforms in Ghana and abroad. And he's seeking to do more because as far as he's concerned, he's here to stay and the world is his stage. We'll be back next time with another edition. Do stay tuned and be sure to subscribe so that when next we are live, you can join us. Thanks a lot for being part of today's show. Goodbye.